So first off, I wanted to ask a question. How many of you commute to school? And how many of you have struggled parking at some point this quarter? Alright, so as you can see, many of you commute to school. And today I'm here to talk about traffic congestion and parking here at Cal Poly. And my major claim is that creating more parking is not the best option to decrease traffic congestion at Cal Poly Pomona. More specific to the parking structure that's being built on top. I have three secondary claims, which are more parking will result in more traffic, the amount of students enrolled is only getting bigger, and public transportation is a better option. So first off, by creating more parking here at Cal Poly Pomona and more traffic lanes, of course, it encourages more people, in our case students, to use their cars. In an article written by University of Albany, the single greatest explanation for traffic congestion correlates to the amount of cars on the street. By providing more parking spaces, there will be more cars, resulting in a higher amount of traffic congestion. Now, the amount of students enrolled is only getting bigger. As reported by a data set provided by Cal Poly Pomona, the freshman enrollment over the past 5 years has increased from 2019 in 2010 to over 3,600 in 2015. Now, the increase of enrollment over 5 years together, that's been over 1,600 every year increase. And according to the article from the Poly Post, the new structure will provide only over 1,800 parking spaces and cost in excess of $41 million. At that rate, and the enrollment is increasing, the parking structure will only provide enough parking for about 5 years, and then the enrollment is going to catch up with it. An option that can be provided to the traffic congestion at Cal Poly is that public transportation is a better option. In an analytical article from the Parking Network, Ladina Kaluri, a marketing manager for Skyline Parking AG, stated that a lack of parking is not the sole reason for traffic congestion, and they all have come down to having too many cars on the streets. According to a traffic congestion provided by the Texas Transportation Institute, public transportation saved LA and surrounding counties a total of over $770 million for the year of 2010. The study looked over at 439 areas across the United States and gathered the amount of delay hours from traffic congestion saved and the amount of gallons of fuel saved to calculate the money saved by using public transportation by specific areas. And then currently here under discussion at Cal Poly is bringing Foothill Transit back onto Cal Poly campus. They used to have it a couple years ago, and in charge of this is Dr. Yuri, an urban and regional planning professor. And well, she's been trying to convince the president, but she really needs help pushing it forward by the students. And like the main reason is because it's 15 to 20 minute walk. If you notice, there's a Foothill Transit drop-off center. It's right off of campus over there, but to get to here, it's about a 15 to 20 minute walk. And they're trying to get it back on the campus, which will make it more convenient for students to take public transportation because they'll get dropped off near the classrooms. And yeah, I hope that I have convinced all of you that creating parking is not the best option to solve traffic congestion at Cal Poly Pomona.
All right, well, I thought you set up the controversy with your audience survey. That seemed pretty reasonable. Your claim is phrased as a claim of value, so you got to be careful about that when you're making an argument about it's not being the best solution. We're going to have to figure out what the criteria are for best. What do people value the most? Do they value their time? Do they value their money? Do they value convenience? We need to get more discussion of those sorts of issues. If you're going to make a value argument, you have to define what the value is that you were talking about. The savings on transportation that you talk about on the third point is basically county-wide savings from any public transportation, and it sounds like you have a description of the formula about what it's talking about. The amount of money, not that I would turn my nose up at $750 million. That sounds pretty good to me if it was coming into my pocket individually. But when it comes to the amount of money that's spent in the county, the amount of money that is spent by the states and by the local governments and the cities, I'm not exactly sure that that's a huge amount of money. And since it's not necessarily savings to those localities, but rather to the community as a whole, again, I'm not sure that those costs are that significant. People might very well prefer, you'd have to do the numbers. Let's say that comes out to $3 a month for people. There might be people who would say, for $3 a month, that sounds like it's a pretty good savings, except that it's worth it to me to have my car so that I don't have to wait, I'm happy to give up the $3 so I can save 5 hours of time a day or something like that. I don't know how you're going to be making that comparison, and that's one of those things, like I said, that's missing from the argument. Although you laid out a preview at the beginning of the speech, I don't think that you were consistent about citing that structure in the presentation, and it felt like we got from the first point to the end point pretty quickly without as much development as there ought to be. I did think that you had some good citation of authority in the argument talking about the cost. You've got good factual data about the cost of the new structure, about the number of parking spaces that it's going to have, and about how long that's going to accommodate the growth in the student population that we've got. For instance, you say that's not the best solution. Maybe the best solution is that we reduce the number of students that attend the university here. Maybe that would reduce the congestion, and it might also improve the university. But we don't have any way of making those comparisons. Again, that's the problem when you use a term like best. All right, thank you.